Okay, so we have a 2012 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, and the rear drive shaft is making noise, so we are going to rebuild that today. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit about it. This is a rebuild kit. A lot of people replace their drive shafts. You don't have to replace it. You can just rebuild the one you have, because what happens is, this kit right here, by the way, off of Amazon or eBay typically, is roughly around 50 bucks. And it'll come in a day normally. And you basically have this kit, and you get your new bearings. If you can see your bearings in there, and you'll take the supplied bearing grease and you'll pack it in there real nice and tight. Because what happens is, this rubber boot, it tears as your axle's in here and it's moving like this as you're going over bumps and off-roading or whatever. This eventually dry rots and it tears, and you lose all your grease, and then grime and dirt and everything else gets in here, and it causes the bearings to start howling and making some god-awful grinding noises, and it's just a terrible sound. So instead of buying a $500-600 drive shaft, if you're not in a situation where you did a lift kit and you need a new drive shaft because the diameter is too big for the exhaust and the lift that you did, this is a much more affordable option to do instead of just replacing the whole drive shaft. So let's get this thing up in the air so I can rotate that drive shaft, and let's pull that one off and take a look at how bad it is.
Don't flip the bearing this time.
Yeah, no, I'm not planning on it. I'm not planning on it. Last time I rebuilt one, I was packing it with grease, and the centerpiece here, it rotates, right? So you articulate, and as I was packing it with grease, I ended up flipping it like this, and I don't know why I didn't push it back. I was like, oh, can it rotate all the way over? And I flipped it all the way over, and when I did, that was the issue, because it's not the same on both sides, and it wouldn't go. So I had to take all the bearings out and then flip it over and then put all the bearings back in, and it gets stuck sometimes because it's not designed to flip over. But if you get it just right, you can get it to rotate all the way over. And look, just so I had it that I rotated it perfectly over. So, because like I said, you see how this has a face on it, and then this just has a lip, like there's no face on there. Right. So that's directional whenever you put it on there, because there's a gasket that sits down in there.
So he's serious now. He's got the headlamp on.
Yeah. That is grease.
What is green? Richard, what is this thing?
That's grease.
No, not the
That's
grease.
bearing grease, buddy.
Yeah, it's a grease in a bottle.
Yeah, I can see here that the boot is torn. Man.
I have to lay down like this, Richard.
Well, that kind of sucks. You need both of them.
Front and rear?
Yep.
It's counting down still when I gave it 6 minutes.
Okay, so how you can tell if your boot is torn besides the noise, you see that trail of grease all around the drive shaft up there on the frame of the cross member, and all the grease here. You lose your grease, your bearings dry out, and it starts making noise. This one's bad, but this one's even worse. The boot is completely torn. If you could catch that in the video. And then see the grease on the drive shaft. Now it goes all the way up and around. And that's how you know your boot's bad. Okay, lower it back down. big hammer.
Huh?
Had to bring out the big hammer.
Yeah, the small hammer wasn't working, so we had to get the big one. So just rotate it down and rotate it down. There it goes. There it goes. Yeah, I didn't even think about, I mean, I should have told you just to buy both of them and be on the safe side, but I didn't think they'd both be bad. But I should have assumed they'd both be bad because, and also too, I wasn't thinking right because your front one typically has a U-joint. And I was thinking that on the pumpkin it would have been a U-joint, and then on the transfer case it would have been the CV boot. But I didn't realize in the rear they had a CV boot for both, so. But, well, now. Alright, so we're going to replace the rear one first, and then when you get this. Well, pretty lousy, to be honest. Did you order the other one?
Yeah. We got a place.
We're gonna replace the rear. Alright, I'm gonna get where you're at here. It's getting hot in here too.
It's just because you were gonna promise.
Oh. Let's see, let's get,
It's not hot here.
it's warm to me. So just put it over here for the drill press.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the grease, what I have left from your bearings, I'm gonna try to pack it into your front one a little bit more. So maybe that'll give it a little bit more life before you can get that piece in. Maybe it'll quiet it down some. Your job is.
Yeah, my creeper worked just fine, and all of a sudden you had to run it over.
I remember it slightly different. I remember you working on your own vehicle and I wasn't here, and then you telling me, hey, guess what I did today?
No, I'm pretty sure, like, I was sitting in the vehicle, and you're like, yeah, pull forward.
I wasn't even here when it happened.
Yeah, you showed up across the street as I was doing it, and you were like, yeah, you're good, pull forward. And I ran my thing right over. Followed your direction.
All right, got the drive shaft done. So the front boot was in pretty bad shape, unfortunately. So we're gonna replace that another day. But what I did was I went ahead and packed it with as much grease as I could for there being a torn boot. I know it's gonna sling out, but if we could at least get some in there, hopefully it'll quiet it down so we can replace it. So now I'm gonna drive up and down these ditches and get that axle to articulate. So that way that pinion angle changes, and hopefully we can get that grease up in there before she drives off. So, well, that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching.